Hello, welcome back to another episode of Critical Reactions with your host, Bryan. It's the end of the day. We're going to do a special selection as we usually do. Today's comes at us from Diego. It says Greg Puciato's Heartfree. All right. I don't know what any of that means. I don't know who Greg Puciato is. I don't know if I'm supposed to. But let's get into this. Let's see what's going on here. Very atmospheric, a lot of reverb on the vocals. That vibrato is haunting. I like how that core line at the beginning has been evolved into this guitar line right here. Very interesting that the drums are what are retained from the previous section, while the guitar is free to do a new idea, but it keeps the identity similar so that the section sounds like a proper flow instead of a transition of sections. In fact, that choir was utilizing a very similar rhythm to the guitar from the verse. It's interesting, I think it's still designed to be felt in 4, but I'm feeling a 6 right here. No, actually that right there is the 6. So there is an element in the music that's making me feel that it isn't just this low tempo. I like how that section of vocals where it buries you alive, and the vocals had been compressed quite a bit. Almost like a layer of dirt was over the music, or over a speaker, I suppose, would be the right way of saying that. Seeing we're still in the 6 here. interesting how many different ideas are being put into this song. Is that, wait, that's not it. Yeah, that's it. All right. I don't know. I was expecting a little more, but maybe that's just because the song seemed shorter than it was, maybe? I mean, that was still 5 minutes, but it does not feel like a 5 minute song, if that makes sense. Um, yeah, there is a lot of really cool stuff going on in here. Um, and a lot of it has to do with possibly my expectations for the song and how the song played into those in some parts and avoided them and kind of did the opposite in other parts. Given the intro and the first verse and the chorus all retaining a very similar identity, the intro has the primary guitar part that we see crop up in the verse and the rhythm that we see in the chorus in the choir section. Um, there is a very strong tie between all three of these sections, and I really figured by that point, I kind of figured where the song was going. We were going to have one of these songs where it takes a single idea and extrapolates it out to an entire song and possibly, explores it in different ways. I even mentioned that the chorus and verse, or what I thought at the time were the chorus and verse, utilized the exact same drum pattern. And with the guitar rhythm carrying over into the choir, I really thought we were going to see this idea of theme and variation and taking this core rhythm as a theme for the song, um, and pairing it with different timbres, or possibly different tempos throughout the whole song. And of course, that was just completely undermined. I think it was the very next section where we shifted to the 6/8 that would dominate the rest of the song. Or not dominate's a weird word. Where it would be present throughout the rest of the song and introduce this new idea of weight rather than rhythmic complexity. Not that the rhythm from the guitar was hyper complex, but um, I do believe the first half of the song was more rhythmically complex than the last half. We took a bit of a tempo dive. We shifted to this idea of almost a 4 against 6. And we saw this interesting shift, I would say, to a more lethargic style of writing, where we still had emphasized downbeats as we saw from the first half, but these downbeats were in the 6/8, beats 1 and 4, which presented a lot of space between us, since we also took a tempo shift down. And it makes that section feel extremely slow, doubly so if you're feeling it in the 4. Um, Originally, I thought the 6 was sort of some sort of added flavor, something that I was hearing, but just because the tempo had dropped so far that I wanted something a little faster, so I was feeling triplets. And once everything cut out, there was a percussive element that was doing the 6/8. And then, of course, in the final section, the melody was working on the 6/8 as well. So I wonder if that idea of 4 that happens in the first time that the 6 pops up, if that is just something I was feeling residually since we had just come out of a 4/4 section, or if the intention was for that to be more of a transitory section, transition section where we take both ideas, the 4 that happened previously, the 6 we are moving into, overlap them, do a little bit of polymeter, although I suppose it would be more polymetric or polyrhythmic at that moment, and introduce this new 6 feeling, the 6 pulse that we're going to end the song on. How, whatever, whatever the intention was, it's done very well. It really doesn't matter if it was designed to be a transition or if it was just a happy accident or whatever. It works very well at helping the song have a bit of flow that I think otherwise might have been lost, given that the first half and the second half are very different in feeling and even rhythm. The pulse is very different. I do think it's interesting that the first half there is a lot of emphasis on several beats. Usually in 4/4 we would have an emphasis on 1 and 3, or 1 and 4, or we can go on the offbeat and do 2 and 4, the backbeat. There's a couple of different ways, but the guitar really emphasized 1, 3, and 4, and then we had a soft emphasis on the end of 2. But then on the second bar, it was no emphasis on 1, but an emphasis on 2, 3, and 4. So maybe the 2 again is a soft emphasis. 3 and 4 are really the major ones here, but the first bar certainly has a downbeat emphasized on beat 1. So there's a lot of emphasized beats here, which gives it that 4/4 feeling, but it isn't as stable as something like 4 on the floor, or if we were going with perfectly steady 1 and 3 or 2 and 4. And it creates a bit of drive and uncertainty to it, which is interesting. I wish I knew a lot of the lyrics to kind of help understand some of this stuff. All I really get out of this is the two emotions that I felt. One is a bit melancholic, and the other is pensive. Not necessarily happy, but less apprehensive, I would say, in the second half. I don't know. These are very interesting environment atmospheres that are created for this, because I don't think that there's any one word, at least in the English language, that represents them. They're complex emotions, which I think are some of the more interesting atmospheres to write. Because when, at least for me, when I start to think about the atmosphere and how it makes me feel, I'm usually having to combine lots of ideas into long drawn out phrases, and it's not always perfect. And I think that's one of the areas where art can really dive into, is these emotions that maybe we felt before but don't have a word to express what they are. And art and music, I think, also just does a really good job of capturing some of that. And here, I can see, like, the first half definitely feels apprehensive to me. There's a it's interesting because apprehensive is the lack of initiative, basically. Um, you're not exactly willing to do something. You're not completely set on taking this action. But it's different from lethargy, which is almost I guess like sloth like. But they both represent an idea of not doing something immediately. But the first half of the song feels apprehensive to me, while the second half of the song feels lethargic. And that's really cool how he can embody, or he can create music that embodies both of these ideas while having this overarching idea of sort of dragging. But they're dragging, they're reluctant in two different ways. Um, I do wish there's a little bit more musical overlap, though, between the two sections. Like I said, the beginning really made me feel like we were going to see one song based on a single idea, an entire song extrapolated from that main guitar line. And the second half, to me, feels divorced from it. And maybe that's the part of it. I remember one line that stuck out to me was, "You made my heart free," or "You ripped my heart free," something like that. You tore my heart free. I don't know if it was said positively or negatively, but it's definitely this idea of a separation. So maybe the idea that these two sections are disjointed, and there's that part in the middle where they're kind of still together, but you know becoming more distinct. The 6 against 4. and then the complete separation at the end. I don't know if maybe I'm reading into that. I could be misunderstanding the lyrics entirely. I'm extrapolating from a single sentence. But I think that's the only way I could really come to terms with really enjoying this song, is if there's a thematic element that ties these two ideas together, because musically they're very distinct. So far, even that the tempo and time signature have been changed in them. The atmosphere is similar but different. Um, so yeah, I'm curious if anyone has any information about this, Diego. I know you submitted it. If you have anything you would like to add to provide, maybe um, why you submitted it, or why it means something to you, why it's an important song to you, and maybe that's why you wanted me to check it out. Yeah, I'm all ears. I'm a bit lost on this one in the grand scheme of things. I really love the granular ideas. That opening 2 minutes is gorgeous. The way that a single idea or theme gets reutilized and revamped across three different sections is just it's uh, it's so good. That was a beautiful way to take a theme and stretch it out across three sections and allow the theme to be distinct in each one of them. We went from chords to a single string to a choir. I don't think the choir utilized the same notes, but the rhythm was there. Um, I like the vocals. I think the delivery is very on point for what's going on here. I've mentioned that it's melancholic, it's pensive, and I think those elements are coming out in the vocals as well. There's not a lot of energy to them. It's not super high in range. It feels very comfortable. Might even be his speaking range. And there's a lethargy to how fast he's saying these words and how much he lets them just kind of exist and take their time coming out of his mouth. And some of that could be the reverb and the effects he has on it as well. But the end result isn't changed because it's digital or made by his vocal cords. Um, and then, like I said, I enjoy the two elements on their own. The first half and the second half, I think both are very cool at creating a specific atmosphere and working within them and keeping it interesting enough. It's not like he just sits in them; he adds layers and makes minor movements through them as well. I wish I could see uh, what the song means as a whole, the overarching idea. I'm really enjoying the trees, but the forest isn't looking so hot to me. That is a terrible, terrible analogy. But those are my thoughts on Greg Puciato's Heartfree. This is where you guys come in. Let me know what's up. Let me know if you enjoyed this or not, if you have any context to it. Um, yeah, just hit me up with some comments. When you're done commenting, you can head up to the description box. There's a link in there for Linktree, which is a fantastic resource. It provides a menu with all sorts of links and places related to the channel, such as the Twitter, Discord, uh, what's the other thing? Patreon. You want to support me through Patreon. You want to submit your own special selection. All those links are there and more. There's like 11 or 12 things in there. So go ahead and check that out. Above the description box, if you could, there's a like and a subscribe and a bell. If you could hit all three, I'd greatly appreciate it. That wraps up today. I'll be back tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9 p.m. UTC, with yet two more episodes, another two episodes. We'll have a special selection at 5:30, and we'll be checking out another multimedia track at 5. Both of those are PM, both of those are EST. All right, until next time, remember to be critical, not cynical, of the music you listen to, and have a fantastic morning, afternoon, or evening whenever you choose to watch my videos.